Everyone, and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, drop that like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel. So today I'll make the video that I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 people asking me about this. I've made videos about this before, but since I have a lot of new joiners, I think it's important to refresh a little bit. First of all, very good to see Bitcoin above 100K. Would be nice to have a weekly close above 100. I think it's from a psychological and also technical point would be interesting. Ethereum is slightly below $4,000. I think next week we're probably going to test some of the 4,200, 300 levels, potentially even higher than that. And PEPE did a new all-time high over the weekend, which means Andy did a new all-time high as well. So he's sitting today at the time of this recording around 330 million market cap. That was the one that I revealed here back when it was 1.5 million. Hoppy, a little bit subdued, 75 million. Hoppy tends to take these huge consolidation ranges, almost makes you fall asleep. Big whales sell in fear of losing the bull market, and then all of a sudden we gap up 5-10x out of nowhere, and it catches everybody by surprise. I suspect we're going to do something similar. And Boppy also has doubled to around 1.4 million market cap. I saw it as high as 1.7. So everything's moving in the right direction as we would like to see in the altcoin season. But now, I've said this many times before, I think we're going to run until late March, early April 2025. When I say run, by the way, I'm not talking about every single week green. That's not what, if you think altcoin season and the real bull market means green candle every single week, you're in for a big surprise. You're going to see things like the Bitcoin, going from 102K to 92K in like 30 minutes. You're going to see altcoins drop 50% in a day. You're going to see sell-offs of even 65% in a couple of hours. It's faster, very tough to handle, but usually the recovery is also very, very quick. So the hardest part in this part of the cycle is actually to sit on your hands. That's the hardest part to do. Some things are moving, some things aren't. So you have the feeling of chasing the green. And then when you chase the green, you see a big fat red candle, and then you look where you came from, and all of a sudden that side is now pumping, and you go back to the place where you were, but with half your stack. So this is the danger. This is why I call it the most dangerous part of the cycle. Now, I was asked about exit strategies. So taking into account that I think that March, April 2025 is going to be a big, more prolonged sell-off, important things to note. It depends heavily on which coin you are. If you're on Bitcoin, by the time that you fall off the parabola and you put in a meaningful top, you have some time to sell. Usually you have a big sell-off, followed by a recovery, not to a new all-time high, and then eventually you start gradually going down. Usually Bitcoin peaks first, Ethereum peaks on average 28 days later, and altcoins peak 7 to 10 days after Ethereum, which makes perfect sense if you think about it. Bitcoin goes first. When people say, okay, I think this is as high as it's going to go, let me start going to Ethereum. Then they get to Ethereum, they think, okay, I think this is as high as this is going to go. And then they go gamble a little bit on the smaller altcoins. Makes perfect sense. I mean, the stock market in 2021, you saw the same thing. First the S&P, then the NASDAQ, the NASDAQ 100 because it's heavily tilted towards those very strong companies, the S&P 500, the Russell 2000 at the end, and then the meme stocks, the garbage stocks, the high growth, zero, only net losses kind of companies, right? So it's the same thing in the stock market. Obviously, crypto is everything exponentially faster to the upside and to the downside as well. So if I think that a meaningful correction will start in March, April 2025, by the way, there are two theses here. Okay? Thesis number one, we peak in March, April 2025, that's it. We peak, so that's thesis number one. Thesis number two, which I'm more convinced towards the second, is there's a peak in March, April 2025, sell off into the summer, and then between August and October, we make the last hoorah in a double altcoin season, in a double altcoin season bubble kind of scenario. Now, here is the issue. When you're in altcoins, you have both an advantage and a disadvantage. Advantage. You can see Bitcoin and Ethereum peak first. Disadvantage. Many of your coins, or there's a very good probability that many of your coins will peak in in 12 months after the Bitcoin halving, which is April 2025 or late March 2025, and they don't come back for the second altcoin season bubble. How can you tell? You can't. It's very hard. It's a bit of luck. Maybe because PEPE is a unicorn, Andy, Brett, Wolf do a final hoorah at the end. Possible. Because it seems that it's a meme coin super cycle. Maybe those memes, which have been some of the leaders, will come back on the second half, but that may not happen. I have the feeling, this is my opinion, that Pulse Chain, PulseXX, etc. will pump the hardest after that sell-off in Bitcoin, because last time around, when Bitcoin was going down between May 2021 and August 2021, from 65 to 29,000, X did a 30-fold the price. So because we have this 170,000 Ethereum on the sacrifice wallet, I wouldn't be surprised if Richard took the advantage of every single coin going down to make his stand out by being the only thing going up. And since they are the only thing going up, they attract a lot of attention by people. Now, this is all my opinion. I have no way to prove this. I have no insider information. This is just things that I'm computing on my mind. But my plan is this. This is my exit strategy. After February or so, I'll start selling around 1% of my coins, depending on which coins I'm talking about. So, for example, if Pulse Chain, PulseX have not yet had a real run, I will probably sell nothing of it. But if Andy is at like $1 billion market cap, then for sure I'll be selling at least 1 to 3% per day. Same thing for Hoppy, same thing for the lottery tickets. So I will probably prioritize selling off 1 to 3% per day on my lottery tickets until I'm out around 50% by late March, early April 2025. Then I will wait for the correction. I need to assess how likely it is that the coins that I still have a 50% shareholding or ownership, will they still go up in the second altcoin season bubble? Yes or no? I don't know. Only seeing, I'll be able, I suspect so, because PEPE has been such a big unicorn, but I cannot say for sure. So I may sell. So when we have the second altcoin season bubble, if I believe that still is highly likely, this is the key. If for some reason I think that there's only going to be one alt season bubble and everything's going to finish in April 2025, then I am going to sell 80 to 85% of all my coins, with the exception of Pulse, PulseX, etc., depending on what Richard has done with the sacrifice wallet funds. So that means I would sell, I don't know, whatever percentage per day starting 1st of February to make sure that I was out 80 to 85% of my position by late March 2025. Assuming that doesn't happen. So let's say I assume there is going to be 2 altcoin season bubbles. Then I would sell 50% up until February, March 2020, up until March, April 2025. Ride out the rest. I know that even if my coins don't come back, they will still make a run. Maybe not to new all-time highs, but maybe fairly close. And then I will sell the remaining 30 to 35% of my coins. And at this stage, I will sell Pulse Chain, PulseX, etc. a bit more faster. Until by September, October 2025, I'm out by circa 80-85% of my position. I will always leave 15 to 20% of my position in crypto. Why? What if I get the timings wrong? What if the cycle is extended? Those 15-20% will still go a long way for me because they will capture a nice 5, 6, 7, 8x in the euphoria phase. If it stops there, I'm very well off and I'm very well prepared for the next cycle. And that time, hopefully, I will have enough money that I can, play more with the Bitcoin cycles rather than needing to go high so further in the risk curve. Of course, I will have some big bags of other stuff, but I will probably won't need to dwell that much into risk as I've done this cycle. But yes, that is essentially my first step will be out around 50% of my position, particularly the lottery tickets, by March, April 2025, or second half of March, first half of April, somewhere around that time. Analyze when Bitcoin is peaking, because I think Bitcoin will peak ahead of the altcoins and Ethereum as well. So pay attention to those two moving, and then I see what can be done depending on how likely I feel we're gonna have a second altcoin season, particularly in the coins that I own. So there are a lot of moving parts. I think the first step will be really March, April 2025. Let's get there first. After that, I have a few contingency plans, as I've just discussed for the last 10 minutes, in which basically it will highly depend on the performance of the coins, on how the cycle is moving at that time in particular. Like maybe this time around, we don't sell off in March and April. I don't think so. I think we're going to sell off. But let's say that this time is different. The key is to always have some exposure in case things go up much further than you think, but also to have enough out that you don't round trip your bags. I think a lot of people will be surprised how far this cycle goes in terms of heights, because they remember 2020, 2021. So basically, in 2020, 2021, everyone was overconfident because they remembered 2017, 2018. 2016, 2017. This time around, they're over bearish and engaging in, as Crypto7 said, premature selling because they have PTSD from 2020, 2021. To me, 2025 is a year of selling, not buying. Will I buy crypto? Sure. I mean, a little bit. 500 euros here, $1,000 there. Basically, to try to capture the final narrative of the bull market, which I still don't know what it is because you only know closer to the end. Last time it was NFTs. Will this time be NFTs? I don't know. It's anybody's guess. And I hope that I was clear. If I wasn't, feel free to drop a message in the comment sections, and I will try to follow up. Usually, I'm looking to sell small percentages of my position until I get to a certain date. Starting most likely 1st February 2025, will give priority to the coins that have run the most. I think Pulse Chain, PulseX, because of the dynamics with the founder, is a bit different, so I'll need to adjust. Looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum always, because I think those will flag tops ahead of the rest of the market. And with that, thank you very much for your support, guys. Have a nice week. Don't forget, I'll be traveling next week, so I will record a little bit less recurrently and in a different setup, so you guys are aware. And with that, thank you very much for your support. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.